name is Dustin Browder. I'm the game director on Starcraft II.
Sir, Dominion ships warping in.
Sweet mother of mercy.
About time we kick this revolution into overdrive.
Feels like old times.
It's a clear and present threat to this Dominion.
Some of the improvements we made to the Starcraft II AI is obviously it's just a much more difficult experience. It's much smarter about how to play the game. We've learned a ton over the last many years, not only how to play the original Starcraft, but how to play Starcraft II. And all of that has been rolled into the development of the AI. All the AI scripting is just vastly improved over what we had in Starcraft, the original Starcraft. Another big change, which we're fairly excited about, is the AI no longer has perfect map knowledge. Right? In the original StarCraft, the AI knew what you had built and where it was located, right? It didn't cheat as much unless you played at the hardest difficulty level, but it didn't cheat as much on the resourcing, but it did cheat in terms of what it knew about what was going on the map. StarCraft II AI does not cheat with map knowledge. It has to find your forces and scout them and see them, and then it will make the proper response, which allows you as a player to hide your forces from the AI, keep them squirreled away and hidden in some part of your base, and then surprise them with a sudden rush of maybe Void Rays or Colossus or Banshees when the AI didn't expect that kind of move. And so it allows you to feel more like you're playing a human. You can actually surprise the AI and take advantage of its lack of knowledge to really defeat it. So it's a challenge that our AI engineers took on, because this makes the AI much harder for them to script. But I believe, at least, and we'll certainly see what the fans think, that the AI is really very challenging at the hardest difficulty levels and will really push your skills as a commander to defeat it. No. So I'll tell you, I could tell you, StarCraft II still has a very strong character-based story gameplay, which allows you to play through the experience and see all these different characters and some new characters that we've sort of grown to love over the years of StarCraft, game development. Now, there's only one beginning and there's only one ending, right? But how you play through the experience is up to you. And there's a few key places. I don't want to oversell this because it's not very many places, but there's a few key places in the game where you can decide the fate of some of the characters in the game. But it does begin in the same place and it does end in the same place. So we can have one continuous experience that we can all sort of understand, when we're talking about StarCraft. But you can choose how you want to play through. You can choose the order you do the missions. You can choose not to do some missions over others. And there's a few places where you actually have to choose this mission or that mission. And that'll affect the fate of a particular character or change the tactical problems you're going to face in later missions down the road. You can also make a lot of choices about the types of technologies you want to take into battle, the types of research that you want to do to sort of support Rainer's Raiders on the battlefield. Rainer's Raiders are humans, and humans are, if nothing else, they're very adaptable. And they're surrounded by very advanced opponents. Both the Zerg and the Protoss in their own way are vastly superior technologically and biologically to anything the Terrans could put in the field. So Rainer's Raiders study very intensely what these alien species are doing, and they take ideas and technology from these alien species to enhance their own forces. And so you can use these research opportunities to really add firepower to Rainer's Raiders. And it's up to you to make the difficult choices as to how to focus your research efforts going forward. You can also hire different specialist mercenary units, and you're going to have to make some tough choices because these mercenary units don't come cheap, but they are very powerful. As you have to choose, do you want to hire, the Devil Dogs, or do you want to hire, the Spartan Company to join your forces and battle with you as you struggle against all of the enemies you make in the StarCraft universe. It's definitely a tough place we've left poor Jim in. We didn't see a lot of what happened between them in StarCraft and Brood War. We get the sense that, certainly at the beginning of the game, Jim is definitely missing what might have happened between the two of them. And certainly he's got to be feeling a lot of anger towards his old ally, Arcturus Mengsk, who left her behind to be taken, infested, and turned into the creature that she was turned into, who went on to kill millions or even billions of humans, right, over the course of the war as she battled against the Terrans. She did so much damage, and this was potentially his girlfriend, certainly his comrade in arms, and now she's become this terrible monster. It's definitely one of the demons that Jim Raynor is fighting against. This is someone that, ultimately could have been the love of his life, and now it's somebody he really needs to hunt down and kill. and stop her. And it's just something that's just tormenting him endlessly and is one of the sources of a lot of his problems. For Starcraft II, we've got a new Battlenet experience that we've been working on very, very hard. The Battlenet team has been pounding away on this for many years right now, trying to bring the best possible online experience we could put together. We've got a new achievement system, which allows you to sort of see your progress across campaign, challenges, versus AI, online, head-to-head, and cooperative play. We've got an all-new matchmaking system, an all-new leagues and ladder system that really does, I think, a very good job at trying to match you against players of your own skill level. After 5 or 6 games, we'll have a pretty good idea of how good you are as a player, and we should be able to match you against an opponent that you will win about half your games against. I know most players prefer to win 60 or 70% of their games, but that means somebody else is losing more. So the best we can do is 50-50, and I think we're pretty close to that. Certainly we saw that in many cases in the beta, that players are winning about half their games, which means we've got a great way to match players, against opponents, whether you're a new player to StarCraft or an old veteran who's played thousands of hours. We should be able to find an opponent that's just right for you. We have a new leagues and ladder system, which allows you to compete against 100 players who are about your skill level. So no longer do you feel like you're number 50,706 in the world, but instead you're number 5 in your league and division, and you're competing against players of your skill level. So you have a chance, whether you're, again, a great player or a new player, you've got a chance to really show off your skills and compete against players in a very fair league system that's at your skill level. We've got, ability to cross-game chat with World of Warcraft, so you'll be able to communicate with your World of Warcraft buddies, and, if they want you to come raid, you can quit out of StarCraft and go raid, or if you want them to come play a 4v4 and show those guys what you've got, you might be able to get them out of World of Warcraft and playing with you. So there's still a lot of new features that obviously we want to add. We've been hearing a lot of feedback from the community over some of the features that didn't make it for the launch of StarCraft, and we're trying to view the Battlenet experience a little bit more like we view World of Warcraft, where World of Warcraft is a constantly evolving experience for our fans. We had a lot of new content over time, and we're going to try to add more patches going forward that add new features to the experience, which allow us to continue to enhance this online experience, continue to allow players to find great custom games, to find one another when they want to play games, to be able to create just hopefully the best online community we know how to create. Well, the map editor has been something that's been very important to all of our real-time strategy games, even from the very beginning. But moving into Warcraft 3, I think the community showed us what they were really capable of if given a very powerful tool. A lot of the game types that you and I are playing now, made by very professional developers, had a lot of their roots in some of the maps created by our fans using the Warcraft 3 map editor. Game types like Defense of the Ancients and a lot of the tower defense games that now we're seeing really great gameplay created on Facebook games, in mainstream PC and in games on Xbox Live, often had their roots in games invented, I think, by our fans in Warcraft 3. And so we got very excited when we saw what our fans did with Warcraft 3. So, our engineering team did everything they could to make the StarCraft 2 map editor the most powerful editor we've ever released. And we've started to see some of that in the mods made by even just a couple of weeks that our fans had the map editor during the second phase of the beta. We've seen first-person shooters, third-person shooters. We've seen platforming games. We've seen games that have nothing to do with real-time strategy game, all created by our fans using this editor. So we certainly believe it's the most powerful editor we've made to date, allowing the fans to modify the data and the scripting of our game down to the very core fundamental levels. And we certainly hope to continue to support that editor, and we certainly hope that our fans will continue to show just the amazing creativity they're capable of. They showed it some already in the beta. We're going to be rooting for them and doing everything we can to continue to support them, to see what kinds of work they'll do, in the months and years to come. No, absolutely. So, we obviously are, very concerned about the quality of our online community. We're always watching it and seeing what kind of little tweaks and tuning we can do to really improve the quality of both our in-game and out-of-game online communities. When we look at our own forums, we see a lot of positive feedback coming out of those forums, but at the same time, we see a lot of fans who sort of abusing the forum privileges, abusing their rights, abusing other players in the forums. And when we look at that, we really want to find ways to try to make it a better experience. We looked around at a lot of online communities, a lot of newspapers, the Wall Street Journal, external. Many of these communities have real ID in their forums, right? And we thought, hey, maybe this would be a fun idea that would help bring a better sense of responsibility to our fans when dealing, with each other in an online environment. And we put it out there early, before we did it, to kind of gauge the community response to it. And the response was not as positive as we hoped for, right? We saw a lot of players who were very upset at this idea, and we thought, maybe this is not either the right time, or maybe it's just not right for our community. So we decided, you know what, we're going to pull this back, and we're going to try to find other ways to make our forum more positive. And we've got some new features that are rolling out that we think will help a little bit. We've got the ability to rate users and rate posts. I don't know if we have users, but we have posts. The ability to rate posts, so you can sort of see, which posts are the more positive or which ones maybe you should just skip and move on from. And we're going to keep looking for ways to improve that community, to try to make just a better place for our players to go to learn more about our games. We like to do everything we can to continue to support our products going forward. And as you know, it's obviously very challenging for us to make new games and to continue to support the old ones. We've done a fairly good job, but we can always do better. And I know our fans are always crying for us to do more, and we definitely hear those concerns. So we're going to try to continue to support Warcraft 3, and we'll certainly do anything we can to support, Starcraft, the original Starcraft going forward. We've got, a team of people that's our legacy support team that, provides us with updates about what's happening in the community and makes suggestions to us for things that we might be able to do to continue to support those games. But yeah, absolutely. We will definitely continue to try to do everything we can to support all of our products going forward. We feel like it's core to our business. It's core to our fans to let them know that when Blizzard makes a game, we're in it for the long haul, all right? We're going to be there with them as they continue to play this game for years and years and years to come.
Because the one thing I know, some things are just worth fighting for.